Amsterdam was just another like level of it. We were looking for a flat marathon, and I don't think we could have found a better one than Amsterdam for that.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
in my head, I was like, oh, great, it's going to be flat. I'm going to see the city. I'm going to see this. I'm going to see that. We run through the Rijksmuseum. We start in the stadium. I blacked out for the entire thing. I had no idea where I was, what I was looking at. I was just head down on the road, focusing on moving, enjoying the movement, and like was in bits after it, but enjoyed every minute of it.
But that is true. Like even the likes of the Cork Marathon, there's only two places I can kind of remember, and that's one running through the tunnel, and two was around the stadium. After that, you could put me on one of them streets and go, "Do you remember this?" I'd be like, "No, never seen this before in my life." I must have been staring at someone's shoes at this point. I have not got a clue about any of this. But I suppose the thing about destination marathons and the reason we're going to Barcelona is it's the before and after. Maybe not so much the
Absolutely.
before, but the after is where you get to take in the city and maybe pick a bar or a nice restaurant and stay on for the day or two. And it is a good way of doing it. And a lot of these European marathons, tickets are available.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get tickets for a marathon abroad than it is for Dublin. Dublin is next to impossible. Now, I haven't tried it before this year, and I was lucky enough to get one in the transfer market this year, but I've just heard people like fighting for tickets and never getting them.
Why is that? Uh,
It's the way they resell to people who have already ran the marathon straight after. So people have that buzz, they impulse buy, and then all of a sudden the bulk of tickets are sold, like bought up. So those
yeah.
transfer markets are essential because then people are like, oh, wait, I'm not training for a marathon. Someone take my ticket.
It's just more laid back in Europe and stuff. And while we're on the topic, I know I was jumping a lot ahead to a couple weeks ago. Speaking of destination marathons, and one that's I think is on my bucket list, Iceland. I loved it when I was there, not for a marathon, but I absolutely and it was 2 days to buy points, so I should be running over there. How was how was the Iceland Marathon?
It was lovely. It was a very, very unique experience for a marathon because by far the smallest marathon I've ever done. I think maybe 1,100 people ran the marathon. But so for the first, like, it was very unique in that sense. Like, you start the half marathon and the marathon together. So you're running with a group of people, the usual stuff. You're used to it, the showmanship, the cameras, the fire trucks out, the dancing, the singing, the bands, everything playing. You hit about 19K and the half marathon drift off and you go your own way. And all of a sudden, there's no one around you. It's empty, it's quiet. The only people you bump into are the wardens or the wardens like showing you which way to go.
Oh
So it was
wow.
very, very unique. So for about 23 kilometers, it's you against your head, which I love personally. Like I love that idea of like you're just there for yourself, you're fighting against yourself. I maybe had 4 or 5 people that I passed or bumped into along the way in the last 23K. Now you could see them
My
off in the
God.
distance, and if you looked around you, you could see a few behind you, but like you had your own space. When you compare it to Amsterdam, like you're crammed in Amsterdam, there's people everywhere, you're jumping, you're
Mm.
dodging. Whereas this, you just zone in, you go for it. Now, the wind, the cold, the hills, they were a little bit tough. Not overly hilly, but there was a lot of like little ups and downs that like you'd have to deal with. But overall, very, very enjoyable.
What time of the year is this, Mart?
It is end of August. So I think it was the 24th of August that I did on there.
Okay, so it is bright when you're doing it, and it's as summertime as you can get that far north, I
Yeah.
suppose. But
So it's like
um,
just the end of summertime.
and what was I suppose, the hardest part of it? Because it sounds great, sounds exciting, but is it being on your own? Is it the fact there's no all the marathons get
Thanks.
half marathons? It's like those half Ironman getting all the good stuff, and all the other ones just get
Yeah.
abused even more. Like, what
It
what